Visitors really bring a community to life. When you have visitors come here, they sort of emphasize and showcase the things that all of us sort of take for granted, but they really put things on steroids. If we didn't have visitors, we wouldn't have the number of restaurants, the attractions wouldn't be as successful, we wouldn't have as many attractions. Visitors augment what we are able to support in a community, and so without visitors we would not have the high level and quality of life that we have and the things that all of us who live here get to enjoy, or that businesses get to use for recruiting to bring people here. Annually, since about 2015, over $1 billion a year is brought into Dane County by visitors, and that's a direct spending number. If you then take the sort of turnover factor, it's well over $2 billion. But in 2017, it was $1.25 billion direct spending for visitors in a single year. Our organization alone booked business that will bring $65 million in direct spending into the community for the 153 events that we confirmed for the future. It is a multi-million dollar and clearly billion-dollar industry, and it is an invisible industry. It's not like the agriculture business where you see silos and fields and farms. You really don't know who a visitor is on the street unless they have a badge on or there's some other way to identify them. They blend into our community, but they make a huge difference in our economy. One of the unique facets of this community as a destination is that the convention facilities that we offer are all different. They're all unique. And so the investment made in the Marriott as a convention hotel is very different than Monona Terrace, which is a small convention center, and then the Alliant Energy Center, which is this multifunctional campus that can handle livestock shows, outdoor, indoor, expansive shows. And any investment we make in any of those facilities, we will be able to take advantage of that because we have people who want to come here, but we have limitations in each of those facilities. And if we can make investments in those facilities, we will get more business here. I know a lot of competitive cities who would love to have the same 164 acres and a campus like the Alliant Energy Center in their midst. That campus is so unusual in terms of the amount of parking it offers, as well as the types of buildings and facilities that are on the grounds that allow us to host outdoor events, trade shows, conventions, concerts, livestock shows, large trade shows. It's a phenomenally functional and important campus in terms of what it brings to this community. If you think in terms of the annual events, perennial events that are held there every year, you have everything from the World Dairy Expo that brings 60,000 people here over a week's period of time, to the Brat Fest, that's a huge regional community event. That campus hosts thousands of people every month, let alone millions that it brings here over a year's time. Whenever you're at any level of business or any type of business, the minute you stand still, you've lost ground. And so there will be, if we don't make improvements and investments into the Alliant Energy Center, the campus, which is self-sustaining now, will find it more and more difficult to do so, because it will be more and more difficult for us to attract events that will help sustain that facility, because the facility will age, and it will also no longer be competitive in terms of just the functionality, the appearance of other campuses and other facilities. If we just look around the state, we have both public and private investments being made. We have private investments being made in the Dells in terms of large convention space. We see many communities throughout the state, La Crosse, Brookfield now, Milwaukee wants to expand its convention center, and then certainly nationwide. New Orleans has just made a huge commitment to build onto their convention center. And so the minute, again, we would think about standing still, it puts us in a bad position. And so it's very critical that we continue to invest, which the county has been doing over the last few years, with the additions of the pavilions, enhancements to even things as simple as improving the restrooms. We have to make those investments, but we need to make more bold investments into really optimizing that campus and what could occur on that campus. think the beauty of really taking a 36,000 degree view of the campus and saying, okay, how can we make it better? How can we, whatever enhancements we put on that campus, where should they be? What should the functionality be? And I think some of the ideas that are coming forward will enhance in terms of bringing livestock shows here, about also creating spaces that don't exist in this community, having a really large ballroom for wonderful functions and community functions, as well as expanding shows like World Dairy Expo that has hundreds of exhibitors waiting on a wait list to be able to attend the show. I also want to think about, I want us to think about in terms of events like CrossFit. CrossFit came to town last year and transformed that campus into something it's never seen before, where you're putting 200,000 square foot pavilions on a parking lot as a support augmentation to an event. That, in terms of merchandising and the sales and things that happen on that campus, also create a revenue stream that isn't typically seen at a convention center. And so that campus is bringing revenue streams that really are rarely seen in a destination. And we can make those, the enhancements that can be made and the improvements that can be made can embellish the existing business as well as grow business and bring new business to our community.